Okay, so this is a clip from How Fear Helps ISIS, okay?
All right.
It's like medieval times. You know, in medieval times, they chop off the head. Who ever heard of this until a couple of years ago?
The product of terrorism is not death, it's not destruction, it's fear. And it's irrational fear. If you talk about people who have been, who've died at the hands of terrorists on US soil in the last 14 years, more have died through lightning strikes. But terrorism is about irrationality. Fear is the most lucrative political emotion. And politicians seize on fear because it's so powerful.
Think about the mothers who will take those children tomorrow morning to the bus stop, wondering whether their children will arrive back on that bus safe and sound.
You're going to have more World Trade Centers. It's going to get worse and worse, folks.
And once you've
So you've got the format, right? So who thinks that this is an appropriate fair use? And who thinks it is not? So everybody else is just not sure? Is that it? The people who are unsure, what are you unsure about?
I'm wondering where it's going to be placed in his project and how it's going to be used.
So, do you want to speak to that, David?
I'll repeat everything you say.
She wants to know why is it clear to you what the copyrighted materials are that he's using?
Oh, I didn't know if he wants to use this or is this something that
This is his work. This is his work. And what he wants to know is the Trump stuff, the Christie stuff, the Trump stuff again, that's all not his work. So coming from TV News? Okay, so he took it off of TV News. Where'd you get it, YouTube? Okay, so he picked it off of YouTube. It's copyrighted. He's incorporated it into this. He's quoted Mark Danner and Stephen Walt commenting on them.
I think it passed muster. We're good.
Do you think, under which category do you think it is? I hate to do this to you, but do you think I can borrow this for a second?
Critiquing it. The first one.
You think it's the first one? Okay, how many people think it's the first one? Okay, and how many people think it's the second one? Oh, and some people think it's something. Some people think it's 4. Okay. I think there's an argument to be made for any of them. What I saw it as was 2, because the experts are making an argument that fear is a political tool, and then he is choosing examples of politicians raising alarm and engendering fear.
So 2 is illustrating the point, is that right?
It's illustrating, right. So he could have picked lots of politicians, engendering fear, but he picked these 2. But he could have picked Cruz or, somebody who wasn't a Republican. I'm sure there's somebody who isn't a Republican who's doing that. So there are limitations here. Is the material properly attributed in some way? Yeah, because it's actually, it's built into the little thing, right? You know where it's coming from. Quotations are drawn from a range of sources to the extent possible. She's certainly got different media sources there. Each quotation is no longer than is necessary to achieve the intended effect. Is anybody going to watch this in order to listen to a Trump speech? No. The quoted material is not employed merely to avoid the cost or inconvenience of shooting equivalent footage. So he's using these because these were speeches that people made, and it's not like he can go back in time and capture Trump saying that. And he's not using it in order simply to not have to film them. His work is actually the critique It's called How Fear Helps ISIS. So this is an analysis. This is a commentary. He's using the clips to illustrate what the commentary people are talking about, right? Okay, so he's like,
Safe.
you think you're safe. See, I actually cannot, I'm not a lawyer. I cannot give you legal advice, and this is not legal advice. However, I can give you a sense of where you're in the very safe, comfortable, comfy couch area of what your colleagues think is okay. And we just ran through the harshest standards that exist here, and David's like clearing the bar easily on all of them. So like, who thinks he's okay? Yeah, and as a non-lawyer, I'm going to raise my hand too. I think it looks exactly, he's in the zone of exactly where his colleagues were when they wrote Section 2. All right, so like, yes, go on.
Just a follow-up about the attribution part. A lot of times when sourcing stuff on the internet, the clips will be already in some other presentation or on some other site, even possibly with that site's branding on it. So then how do you deal with attribution?
It's a great question. So you're saying Al Jazeera showed a Fox clip of,
Yeah. So say Al Jazeera showed that clip.
so then you've got Al Jazeera and Fox both on the same clip, so you're fine there. But if you had a question of, I'm not sure if it's clear enough to the viewer that I got this from somewhere else, and that I understand that I got it from somewhere else, this to me seems like, duh, like pretty obvious. But if it's not clear, then you always have credits or a website to think about to make it perfectly clear where you got it. But I don't, please, there's no one fixed way to do this. That's one thing that the filmmakers did not want to do. They did not want to write anything that would stand out to you in 2016 as, oh my God, that is so 2005. You know, they wanted to leave it to you as what the appropriate. But the idea behind the attribution thing was, you know, if you're having a clip, say you're going to take a clip from another independent film, well, you basically wouldn't do that without saying this is this other guy's work. You know, unless you were just trying to substitute it and pretend that you had taken that sunset because you're too lazy to go out and get the sunset for yourself. But that would probably not be fair use then.
So say Al Jazeera uses a clip and I use it vis-a-vis them, but they don't attribute.
So Al Jazeera has a clip and they don't say where it came from, and you're going to use it. You've done the best you can, right? The most important thing is that it be clear that you understand that this isn't yours, and that you're respectful of the fact that other people make stuff. So this is actually not part of copyright law. Let me be perfectly clear. Attribution is not part of copyright law. It's just etiquette. It's the kind of thing that when you're doing it, if you can put in something that says, yeah, I know this is from this movie, you know, or you know, this is from this news service, it eliminates the part where other people get really pissed off because they think that you're just taking it without acknowledging that they did it. This is the thing that makes people most upset, is the idea that you didn't give them credit for doing it. Yeah.
So how would you spell that out in the credits?
Well, you could say material taken from, and have a list. Yeah. And Vivian, you had a...
What if I shot what if David had used footage, not of those news moments, but people who grabbed a shot from an Al Jazeera newsreel, people stockpiling for Armageddon or something like that. It's not a politician speaking, but it is showing a response.
So the question is,
It's not specifically to the event.
the issue is how fear helps ISIS, and he's going to show people being afraid in some way. generically. And he's going to have to, he didn't give us that clip. So we don't know what it's going to look like. And, you know, using your fair use rights is always a judgment call. And some people want absolute security. I just want to remind you that you do not have absolute security in all the other decisions that you are making in your life, including all of your First Amendment rights. You regularly choose what to say about other people in different situations and make a judgment call that this will be appropriate. And has anybody ever made a judgment call that wasn't quite on it? Did you ever do that? Every once in a while, like, you know, something where you're like, oh, I probably shouldn't have done that. You know, so that's where you realize, like, these are conventions. So this document is, in the absence of commonly understood conventions, this is spelling out some, like, unbelievably simple, everybody agrees about it kind of terms. Beyond this, there is a very wide range of fair use. But this does not say you have to do exactly this, but not that, because he's going to have a wide range of choices. He might want to incorporate something that draws from the Prelinger collection and shows people in the Cold War behaving in a fearful way. Of course, if it was the Prelinger collection, it might actually be in the public domain or not. But if he would have to make his decision, again referring to this document, saying, have I both understood the basic logic of fair use, that I do have the law is not just telling me I have the right, the law is actively encouraging me to take unlicensed material if I have something else to do with it, because the law is really eager for me to make new stuff.